Shalom, 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 saints and future subscribers of AOSD, CHANDLER on YouTube, as well as King Donnell, KINGDONEL on TikTok. If you have not, I ask you to go into Amazon and look up the circumcision and uncircumcision of Genesis chapter 1, Mystery of the Gardens Revealed. All churches need that book in order to understand some of the mysteries that maybe you overlook. Tonight, we're going to unearth another mystery, the mystery of the 10 Jubilee judgment found in Daniel 70 weeks prophecy. Walk with me. Daniel 9:24. 70 weeks are determined for your people and for your holy city to finish sin, to set an end to sin, to wipe out lawlessness, to atone for wrongdoings, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, and to anoint the Holy of Holies. All right, if we do a little math, a week is 7 days, right? So 77, 490. So let's say a week equal a year, because here it does. 490 years divided by the 49 Jubilee years is 10 Jubilees. Now, this is something that's not too new, because Israel was in the Babylonian captivity because for 490 years they had not did the sabbatical rest year correct. So after the 10 Jubilees, the Lord brought forth a judgment upon Israel where they lost their land because of their violation. So now we have a new 10 Jubilee prophetic judgment being explained to Daniel. But let's find out what happens once again within this 10 Jubilee time cycle. The people was going to finish sin. They was going to make an end of sin. They was going to wipe out all lawlessness. They was going to atone for the wrongdoings, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, and anoint the Holy of Holies. And this was determined to be set upon the people. So the people was going to be partaking, or the actions, or what was supposed to occur, was going to be dealing with the people as well as the Messiah, because we find out the Messiah is introduced in verse number 25 and 26. But we find out something very important happens within the 70 weeks or the 10 Jubilees. The atonement was going to occur, and not only the atonement, but the sealing up, the finishing of vision and prophecy. So that's going to be important, because this is all centered around the people as well as the Messiah. You go to Daniel 9:25, Christ the Prince is introduced, but in 26, and after 62 weeks, the anointed one, who's Christ as Prince, shall be put to death. Yea, there shall be no upright judgment for him, and he shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. This is all around dealing with the 10 Jubilee judgment. Well, let's find out more about the Jubilee judgment, so maybe we can understand a little bit more about what's going on in Daniel. Leviticus 25, verse 8. You shall also count 7 years of rest for yourself, 7 times 7 years, and at the time of the 7 weeks of years shall be to you 49 years. Then, so he talked about the 7 weeks of years, so we find out that's what Daniel got going on. Then you shall sound the trumpet through your land, and on the 10th day of the 7th month, on the day of atonement, you shall make the trumpet sound throughout all your land. So during the Jubilee, you got the forgiveness of sin. You got the Day of Atonement when the trumpet is blown. Daniel 9:24, it states, once again, to atone for wrongdoings. So they're both talking about the Day of Atonement. There's a Day of Atonement dealing with the Jubilees, and then there's a Day of Atonement dealing with the 70 weeks, which is about the 10 Jubilees. So we're talking about the same thing here, right? They're all about the period of the Jubilee. Leviticus 26 explains what happened if Israel is disobedient, even dealing with the Jubilee. And it says this, Leviticus 26:31, I will lay your cities waste and bring your holy things to desolation, and I will not smell the odor of your sacrifices. I will bring your land to desolation, and your enemies who dwell in it shall be astonished at it. So Leviticus 26 says, I will lay your cities waste, bring your holy things to desolation. I will bring your land to desolation. Daniel 9, the half of 26. And he shall destroy the city and the sanctuary with the prince who is coming, and they shall be cut off with the flood, and to the end of the war, which will be cut short, he shall appoint the city to desolations. Well, we just read that was going to happen if Israel was disobedient, even dealing with the Jubilees. But here's another mystery that's not understood. But we're going to reveal it here. Daniel 9:27. Then he shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week, and in the middle of the week, my sacrifice and drink offering will be taken away. What is this coming from? Leviticus 26:11. I will establish my covenant among you, and my soul shall not abhor you. In some translations, God, I will confirm my covenant. And in Daniel 9:26, some translations got, I will establish my covenant. So the same words are used for confirm and establish, and depends on your translation. So they're saying the same thing. So Daniel 9:27 is talking about the Jubilees. He's going to confirm his covenant with me for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, his drink offering and sacrifice will be taken away. We find out in Leviticus 26, the confirming of the covenant was the blessing, and the taking away was the curses. So Leviticus 26 explains this is the blessing and curses for disobedience. Daniel 9:27 is talking about the blessing and cursing for disobedience. The ones that's blessed get the confirmation of the covenant. The ones that's cursed gets the destruction of the city and the sanctuary. Oh, Daniel 9, 24 through 27 is dealing with the Jubilee. And that's why this language is found dealing with the Jubilee in Leviticus 25 and 26. Leviticus 26:6. War shall not pass through your land, and I will give peace in the land, and you shall lie down, and none will make you afraid, and I will utterly destroy the bad wild animals from your land. Verse 9. For I will look upon you and make you fruitful and multiply, and establish my covenant with you. That's the end of all things. That's to bring it into everlasting righteousness. The Lord is tabernacling with his people. Leviticus 26:33. And I will scatter you among the Gentiles, and the sword shall suddenly destroy you. Then your land shall be a desert, and your cities deserts. Then the land shall enjoy its Sabbaths as long as it lies desolate, and you are in the enemy's land. Thus the land shall rest and enjoy its Sabbaths. As long as it lies desolate, it shall rest. For the time it did not rest on your Sabbaths when you dwelt in it. That's the curses. So you see, it's all dealing with the Jubilees. The destruction of the land and the city is all dealing with a Jubilee judgment. The Lord picked out 10 Jubilees for the first judgment, the first desolation dealing with Babylon. He picked out 10 more Jubilees for the second desolation or the destruction dealing with Rome. And after that, everlasting righteousness. The new covenant was going to be brought in, which deals with this. John 4:20. Our fathers worship on this mountain, and you Jews say that in Jerusalem is the place where one ought to worship. 21 through 24. Jesus said to her, Woman, believe me, the hour is coming when you will neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem worship the Father. I'm going to skip down to 23. But the hour is coming, and now is, when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father is seeking such to worship him. God is a spirit, and those who worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. If I was talking too fast, get it on the replay. Sorry about that. But Christ said it was going to come a time when the true worshipers was going to worship the Father in spirit and in truth. The new covenant brings the Father in within the Spirit and uses the Holy Spirit to worship him and etc. So the old covenant was being taken away on the 10th Jubilee prophecy about the judgment, and the new covenant was going to come in. No more law, no more prophets, no more visions, no more prophecy. All things are set new. Subscribe to the channel.